Hi guys, and welcome to Skyfish Johnny. This is a dark episode, and I think if I don't do it now, I won't do it. But basically, I've completely messed up using potassium permanganate. I'm just absolutely devastated. To cut a long story short, I've lost 15 of my fish, and my favourites have both gone. My two favourites, the amazing fish, my cratcher guy Freddie, he's a goner, which I wouldn't have sold him for the love of money. It just feels so empty without all of them, but especially because of Fred. You guys know through the videos how in love with him I was and how amazing he was, and I've gone and killed him. I just like basically murdered all my fish by... I did everything right. I got the pond measured. Well, obviously I didn't get it all right because I killed the fish, but I know how I got my mistake now over going through it over the past 24 hours, but I'm going to go through it with you now in a nutshell, what's happened, and update as we go through this, or as I go through it, or if I update and continue, I don't know, because it's really hit me hard. I even thought I was just going to quit, but that's not like me. But you get these floating thoughts, and the reason I'm doing this video now is because my channel is based on helping beginners and helping people avoid mistakes like this massive one that I've messed up. So it does add value to people, but it's dark. Like, I was up till like 4 o'clock in the morning doing water changes on the pond in pure desperation. But anyway, what happened was I measured the pond out, 15.2 grams of potassium permanganate I needed. I measured it out on these scales, which I've used for a long time. They are accurate, or normally accurate. I don't know what's gone on, obviously, or else I would have avoided it, but I've significantly and seriously overdosed the fish with potassium permanganate. The thing about this scales, sorry, it's set. I set it to grams so I can weigh in grams, but I think somewhere along the line when I've been turning it on, because they're both like, so I'm gonna have to pick it up again. They've both got two silver buttons, one for on and one for to change the grammage, grams to pounds or ounces or whatever. And looking at it, I think what's happened is I potentially have, or the scales of two potential causes of it was either I pressed the button once I'd set it up all correctly to grams, accidentally pressed it and turned it to pounds, and then I've looked at the digits and gone to 15.2, and it's been pounds, which is a significantly high dosage, which has obviously killed my fish. Or the scales, I had them on the side there in the corner on a level surface, maybe they were off, or maybe just something happened, but either way I got the measurement wrong and put too much in. I did have hydrogen peroxide there. You can see what I had, one bottle with 3/4, just below 3/4 in, which was more than adequate, double what I needed really, in the case I dosed correctly. But because I significantly got it wrong, it wasn't enough to neutralize the potassium permanganate and calm it down from that. So yeah, I measured it all out. This is an hard episode, this, guys. I really don't know, and I'm really praying that people aren't too harsh with me and understand that no one can beat me down more than I beat myself down. I've been asleep for like 2 hours. I've done as much as I possibly could, because when I set it up I was going to do it after work, which I did it after work, as you know, it takes, you got to sit there for like 4 hours and watch your fish. That was the best time for me to do it, but also the worst time, because the worst time meaning the shops are shut. I can't get all of that extra stuff if I need it. I only had 1 bottle, double the dosage of hydrogen peroxide, but not enough in the case of making an extreme mistake. And in this case, I made an extreme mistake. I mixed it all up, I added it to the pond, I watched the fish, they seemed alright. Obviously when it goes in, and with them having parasites, because I'd identified, the reason for treating it was I'd identified, bloody hell, trichodina in the pond. I'd seen the fish's behaviour change. So I got them out, done a scrape, gone onto the microscope, everything went swimmingly. I found trichodina. I thought, right, okay, I've not had that for a while, so I'll get my old potassium permanganate out, which was almost out of date on the packet because I didn't have to do it last year, but I'd done it a few times before, successfully, but this time I just made 2 steps wrong. The 2 steps that I got wrong was I should have had 2 sets of scales doing something as extreme as this, that can obviously cause fatalities. I should have had 2 sets of scales. I should have paid more attention to what I was measuring out. I should have, if I was more experienced, I would have known, looking at how much was there, that it was too much of a dosage. And I should have had buckets full of hydrogen peroxide. That's the thing I want to stress, guys. If you're going to do a potassium permanganate treatment, then make sure that you have got buckets full of of hydrogen peroxide. As you can see now, I've got there at the back 3 of them. One, the one that I emptied yesterday, the one that I've pretty much emptied today, trying to neutralise it, which I have done, and there are 9 fish in there swimming around. But like I say, this could have been avoided. I could have double checked the dosage that was going in the grams. I could have used 2 sets of scales. I could have looked more thoroughly at the scales. I could have had a rough idea of how much I should of potassium permanganate I should have seen in the container before mixing it. But I just trusted the scales. I'd put the scales on the side, set them to grams, poured it on. It was 15.2 grams. Put it in. They were all right for the first hour. Then I was like, some of them are darting about a bit and being a bit funny. But then they seemed to settle and everything seemed to all right. I couldn't see all the fish, so I was just relying on the windows intermittently. And then I went back to work while my wife watched the fish because I needed to attend a quick meeting. Harriet, my wife, bless her, she said the fish are going crazy. I came straight back down from upstairs, went out, and they were going crackers. And some of them were a couple of them were gasping at the top of right, we need to cancel this treatment now. But this must have been like about 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, I don't know, it's all a haze. So I ran out with the hydrogen peroxide and added it slowly, not slowly but quite quickly, but all of it within half an hour to an hour. I have no idea. I tried to go slow, but I just knew something was wrong. Anyway, that didn't help. The fish were coming to the top, they were turning, and I was really in a state of panic, and time just went really fast. So then I thought, right, I can't get, I think it had gone past 10 o'clock, I can't get my hands on any I can't get my hands on any hydrogen peroxide. So what I'm gonna have to do is a water change, a significant and serious water change. So I dropped the water down, I kept doing the filters, I dropped the water right down, and I did like a 50% change. I got some of the fish out and put them in, as you can see here, we had this is a really hard thing to do this. I'm not sure whether I can actually do this or not. We had the swimming pool up, we had the measuring bowl, we had the big red container there, and we just got as many fish as we could see because it had all gone like dark brown like it does when it stopped working, but it was all still in there. And we just put the air stones in and we tried to revive as many fish as we can, knowing that's not the perfect route at all, because you change the water temperature in the pond would be different to water in the vats, if you like, or something like that, that we were trying to move them into, so that could send them into shock and kill them. And I can also promote white spot at a later date, which now I'm going to have to keep an eye on with the 9 remaining card. I honestly just do not know what to say or what to think, and there literally is only me to blame with this. And I feel like, you can imagine, it's a big kick in the big gingangoolies, to put it in a PC way, but I'm devastated, man. I'm absolutely devastated. I honestly am. I'm cruising along in this hobby. I was loving it. I was getting a lot of stuff right. I was doing new things. I was trying new things. I was growing my fish. The fish, believe it or not, because I weirdly measured a couple, and there's like 9 centimetre growth on a couple of them throughout from spring. Everything that I was doing was going really well. I'd even done a cheeky video which put out as a short with me modelling in my vest. I was buzzing. That had trended to 6,500. Everything about this hobby was just, I was on top. I was flying. I was on top. I was feeling great. Everything was going great. And then literally a few hours later, I'm devastated. 15 of my koi, my best ones, the Sankey that I was loving watching him mature, and the Sumi and the Benny and the patterns coming out on him. I'll never get to another fish like that. I'll never get as sure as I won't get another Freddy. And the reason why I don't have them now is all because of me, all because of something that I've done wrong, or the scales have done wrong. It's one of the two. I know this because I've gone through a million things in my head, but I've been down to the koi dealers today and spoke to Dave, who's a top guy, and he tested my water. He looked at my water, and then he said that the only thing is that you've killed them looking at the gills and stuff. You've basically killed them using overdosing potassium permanganate. I'm like, I honestly don't know what to do. I'm literally recording this now after it happened last night. It isn't the type of video I want to post, but it is part of the journey. And like I say, I do want to help other people avoid these mistakes that I've made. And this mistake has been a fatal one, a devastating one, a confidence killing one, a fish killing one. I just feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed and I feel upset. I feel like, just like, what's the point? I feel like, even in relation to the channel, I'm like, should I even bother? Because am I actually doing anything for anyone or making the world a better place or whatever when I'm killing frigging fish? But it is what it is, and it's done now, and I assure you that I'll never ever make the same mistake again. But one thing I'm gonna have to do, like, follow-up videos on this. Obviously I can't just lose 15 fish and not explain more in depth, but like I said, I've just literally, it was like 24 hours ago it all started to go pear-shaped on me. So if I was to advise me or give any like advice from this, is use 2 sets of scales. Make sure your measurements are 100% correct. Make sure your scales are set right. Make sure they're trusted, and make sure that you've got tons of hydrogen peroxide just sat waiting, just in case something goes wrong. Because if you're doing it at night, because it's a 4-hour period, not many people have 4 hours spare in a working day. So try and do it at a time that if you need to get hold of somebody that is an expert, that you can get hold of somebody that's an expert, so you're not dancing around at 4 o'clock getting the blue bucket and literally emptying out as much water as I possibly could to help get as much out. It's just devastating, and it seems like not the worst thing, but the fish that have been with me the longest are obviously the biggest, and they're the ones that I'm like emotionally attached to. And when this hydrogen peroxide starts to starve the fish of oxygen, The big ones die first is basically it. So I've lost all my favourites, and it's yeah, it is what it is. I can't rewind time. I can only potentially help other people from this. It is a dark time. I'm just a little bit morbid. I've got to go and pick the kids up in a bit, and they'll be expecting Daddy to be up like he normally is and all energetic, and I just feel like not very good, as you can imagine. But I know that I spoke to a few people on the phone, like Jamie and a few other people, and I've witnessed it myself, where experts have made a mistake and they've lost fish. So I know I'm not the only one, but that don't make me, it does make me feel a little bit like more, I'm not the only one to make stupid mistakes like this, but it still doesn't rewind time. But I'd like to just say thank you for the support that's been there so far with the people that have shared their bad experiences with me. In order to try and make me feel better, which I suppose it does a little bit, but it's not going to change how I feel completely. But yeah, I did everything correctly. I'd measured it out as far as I was concerned. I had the oxygen on full. I had 2 extra additional balls in there, air pump balls in there. I had the fountain on for more oxygen. I'm just very, very thankful that, as you can see there, that's probably the only big one that I've got left is Otis, my Gimring Shagoi, which I actually do love, so I'm blessed to have him. But yeah, 9 out of 24 I've got left. 9, the rest are dead. I know this isn't a great episode, and I know you guys aren't going to enjoy it, and I know it ain't like normal, lively, upbeat Johnny, but it is what it is, and there's only one man to blame, and that's me. But I did everything I could until 4 o'clock in the morning, moving, doing filter changing, moving water out, moving water in, filter changes, oxygen in, doing as much as I do, fishing them out and putting them in bowls. I did as much as I possibly could, and it all could have been avoided. Again, just waffling on now with the hydrogen peroxide. So if you're going to do a PP treatment, potassium permanganate, make sure you got hydrogen peroxide, and make sure you got tons of oxygen going into your pond, and make sure you measure it right, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're putting thousands of pounds worth of fish in the bin because you've been an idiot. All right, so hopefully I'll be doing more episodes in the future. I just wanted to, at the minute, I've just been plodding around the house feeling like I need to tell you guys, because it is like doing this, it's like a shared pond really. I feel like it's strange. It is strange because it's like I've got friends on the internet, on YouTube, that care about what's going on and share the journey and share the pond and share the enjoyment that we have with the fish. And I've let you guys down, as well as my kids and everyone else, by just not paying attention and not having the right amount of kit in the house to resolve an issue like this. It's a painful lesson. All I like to say is at the end of this is that I'm just feel really blessed and super lucky to have 9 left in there, because when I went to bed last night or this morning at 4 o'clock, I was just laying in bed and I was just thinking, I'm gonna have no fish. I'm gonna have no fish. But I've got 9 of them, so the water changes must have helped. I've just got to keep an eye on them now, and hopefully them 9 will pull through. We'll pull through all right, but yeah, devastated, guys. Absolutely devastated. And like I say, please do not be too harsh with me. I do like sharing my journey. I do like being on this channel. I do like what we've created, and I do like keeping coy, but I've failed miserably, and I've always said that I will keep this channel honest. I will share everything. I won't be one of the people that will just show you the shiny moments, the great moments, and pretend that the bad doesn't exist, because the bad does exist, especially when you get something wrong. And I've got something wrong. Right, I'm going to go now because I really need to sort my head out, give it a wobble, and try and get myself back to some form of feeling like everything's not okay, but everything whatever. You know, you get what I mean, guys. You get what I mean. Anyway, I'm gonna go. So take care, and I will hopefully update you shortly.